The signal. The red alert blared across Erebus. 9, bathing the steel corridors in flashing crimson. Commander Reyna Sloan sprinted down the main concourse of the central hub, her boots hammering against the floor. The outpost had been a mining station once, a quiet, remote colony in the outskirts of the Persian Reach. That quiet shattered the moment alien signatures blinked onto their orbital radar. They came out of nowhere, gasped Lieutenant Decker, handing her the latest scan data. 5 ships, heavily armed, no IFF codes. They're jamming long-range comms. Reyna's jaw clenched. Send the SOS through the subspace backup node. Keep it short and tight. Decker nodded, fingers flying over the console. A small screen lit up, transmitting emergency signal, Priority Alpha. SOS, Erebus, 9 under attack. Civilian colony. Immediate assistance requested. Coordinates attached. Reyna stared at the viewport as the alien ships drew closer. They were dark, jagged things like floating blades dipped in ink. The insignia stamped on their hulls. A burning claw was unmistakable. Javoruk, the Harrower. She had seen his name in Earth's intelligence briefings. A warlord from the Vexery Dominion. Brutal, unpredictable, a slaver and despot. He hadn't struck in coalition territory in years. Now he was here. Power down all external signals except life support, Reyna ordered. We can't win a direct fight. We go dark. Hide. Use the tunnels. The first strike hit 10 minutes later. A burning beam lanced through the upper atmosphere and sheared off the eastern mining platform. 50 people died instantly. Shock waves tore through the settlement. Screams filled the comms. Security drones were annihilated before even reaching weapons range. We were never meant to fight. Just mine. Just live. Reyna gathered the survivors in the subterranean shelters, thick titanium-bonded caverns dug during the first phase of terraforming. Not built for war, but maybe they buy time. Dr. Milo Hart crouched beside Reyna in the shelter's command room. His lab coat was singed. His left arm was in a makeshift sling. I got through, he said, breathing hard. The SOS. I think the backup node managed to piggyback it off a stray relay satellite. Think. He smiled grimly. Hope counts for something. Above them, the sounds of heavy impacts and explosions echoed through the rock. The Vexery were landing troops now, brutish, scaled bipeds with heavy plasma throwers and no concept of mercy. How long before they breach? Milo asked. Reyna checked her tablet. 2 hours, maybe less. They sat in silence. In another part of the tunnels, Reyna met with the last of her defense squad. 12 ex-security personnel, a few engineers, and 3 farming drones converted into bomb carriers. Crude, but better than nothing. We can't stop them, she said, but we can make them bleed. By time, make them think twice. They nodded grimly. For most, this wasn't about victory. It was about protecting the ones still hiding in the deeper tunnels. Hours passed. The ground shook again. A Vexery broadcast blared across the comms. Javoruk's voice was deep, guttural, and gleeful. Little humans, your colony is ash. You're insects beneath my claw. Come out, and I may allow some of you to live. Reyna gritted her teeth and cut the comms. They launched their final ambush at Tunnel Junction 3, where the rocks narrowed. Reyna's traps worked. Mines electrified floors, triggered collapses. They took out 2 full squads of Vexery before the enemy adjusted. But then came the plasma drills. The Vexery started burning through walls with weapons built for siege. Reyna fell back, wounded in the leg, Milo dragging her toward the secondary shelter. There's no more time, he whispered. If help isn't coming. It's coming, she rasped. It has to. 17 hours since the SOS. Just as the last wall began to crack, Reyna's handheld chirped. Incoming signal. Frequency. Earth Coalition Command. She froze. Pressed accept. A calm voice came through. This is Admiral Elias Keel. SOS received. Fleet dispatched. Stand by for reinforcement. She blinked. Fleet, but the signal cut. That was it. No time estimate. No coordinates. Just those 2 words. Fleet dispatched. Above Erebus. 9. Space itself shuddered. The Vexery had deployed a massive war cruiser in low orbit. From its bridge, Javorek watched the destruction below with amusement. Crush them, he growled, then burn the surface. His officers scurried to obey. One of them looked at a blinking alert and frowned. My lord, he said hesitantly. Long-range sensors, detecting multiple warp signatures. Javorek snarled. Reinforcements? Not just reinforcements, my lord. A fleet. Hundreds of ships. War-class dreadnoughts. Carriers, too many to count. A tremor passed through the warlord's scaled face. Retreat. It was too late. The sky split open. Space shimmered as a wave of human vessels dropped from hyperspace, their hulls gleaming silver and gunmetal. The Earth Coalition 5th Interstellar Fleet had arrived. At its head, ECS Titanus, a dreadnought the size of a city. A voice boomed from all comms, military override. This is Admiral Keel. To the aggressors of Erebus, 9, you have 10 seconds to surrender, or be destroyed. No reply came. The countdown began. Reyna limped out of the shelter, Milo supporting her. Survivors followed. They looked skyward. Above, burning streaks of plasma lanced through the clouds. Vexery ships obliterated in seconds. The heavens roared. Help had arrived. But not just help. Humanity had sent its wrath. The fleet. The sky was a kaleidoscope of fire. Erebus 9's dust storms parted as the Earth Coalition fleet descended from orbit like the judgment of ancient gods. Survivors on the ground stared in awe as streaks of blue plasma carved burning trails across the clouds. The Vexery cruiser, so monstrous just minutes ago, exploded into fragments as 3 human dreadnoughts opened fire in perfect synchronicity. In a command cavern, Reyna gripped Milo's arm, speechless. They actually came, he whispered. No, Reyna said. They didn't just come. They brought the whole damn hammer. Orbit, ECS Titanus. Fleet Command Bridge. Admiral Elias Keel stood at the center of a circular command deck, hands clasped behind his back. He was a towering man, gray-bearded, sharp-eyed, with a reputation for never hesitating once humanity was threatened. Enemy fleet capacity neutralized, 83%, reported Commander Vera. Remaining vessels attempting retreat. No communications received. Finish the rest, Keel said flatly. We don't send messages halfway. Dozens of AI-controlled strike drones launched from the carriers. Like steel birds of prey, they darted toward the fleeing Vexery frigates, tearing through them in flashes of plasma and kinetic rounds. Surface, Erebus 9. Javorek stood amidst the smoldering remains of his forward base, disbelief contorting his reptilian features. How did they get here so fast? This was supposed to be a backwater. One of his lieutenants collapsed beside him, bleeding from shrapnel wound. They sent a whole fleet, Warlord. Not a rescue team. An invasion force. Javorek's eyes widened. No, this isn't a rescue. This is retribution. The ground rumbled again as drop pods streaked from the sky, landing around the Vexery camps with thunderous impacts. The pods hissed open. Out stepped Earth Coalition shock troopers in black armor, their visors glowing red. Secure the surface, came the command, and they did, in waves. Reyna and Milo emerged from the tunnels alongside a few dozen survivors. Medical drones immediately scanned them, and one of the troopers knelt in front of Reyna. Commander Sloan? The trooper asked. Yes. You're being extracted. Admiral Keel wants you debriefed ASAP. Welcome back. Back. To Earth's protection. She exhaled slowly, pain and relief mixing in her lungs. You're damn late. The trooper smiled under his visor. We had to make an entrance. Elsewhere on the battlefield, the Vexery fought with desperation, but they were no match for the technological precision of the Earth Coalition. Mechs the size of buildings stomped through makeshift barricades. Orbital strikes took out hardened positions with surgical accuracy. Drones deployed shielding fields to protect civilians mid-evacuation. Every movement was choreographed. Cold. Efficient. The Vexery had expected fear. Instead, they got fury. Javorek made one final attempt to rally his remaining warriors. "We are the harrowers," he bellowed. "We do not bow." Seconds later, the wall behind him exploded. Admiral Keel's personal squad entered. At their center, the Admiral himself, armored in command-grade exosuit, a plasma saber in one hand. Javorek charged. He didn't make it 2 steps. Keel struck once, clean, clinical, and the warlord crumpled to the ground. Post-battle, ECS Titanus. Fleet debrief room. Reyna stood before a large screen, watching security footage of the battle's aftermath. She turned to Keel, now dressed in his command blues. "You didn't just save us," she said. "You unleashed hell." Keel nodded. "That was the idea." "What?" Keel tapped the screen, bringing up a star map of surrounding colonies. "Because fear works both ways. The Vexery used to think they could raid humans with minimal consequence. That ends today. We don't send bandages when civilians scream for help." He leaned forward. "We send a fleet." Broadcast galactic-wide. Hours later, a recorded message was transmitted from the Titanus to every known system, translated into over 300 dialects. To those who seek to harm Earth's citizens, whether on homeworlds or colonies, we do not negotiate with terror. We do not forgive unprovoked aggression. You may find our people scattered, isolated, or vulnerable. But know this, wherever we are never alone. We will respond, and it will not be with aid. It will be with the full fury of a united species. Earth hears every cry, and Earth remembers. Erebus, 9. 1 week later. The colony was in ruins, but it was no longer alone. Hundreds of engineers and military personnel had landed to begin rebuilding efforts. The survivors had been offered relocation, but most chose to stay. "We'll rebuild," Milo said, watching the new fusion generators being installed. "Bigger, smarter, stronger." Reyna nodded. "And next time someone sends an SOS, they'll know what's coming." They both looked up. The sky, once dark and helpless, now shimmered with the silhouettes of Earth's fleet. Humanity had arrived, not to beg, not to plead, but to declare in thunder and fire, "We protect our own."